Everyone, this is Naren from FloydHub. In this video, I'm going to show how to enable Tensorboard for your FloydHub projects. If you're not aware of Tensorboard, it's a visualization tool that comes packaged with TensorFlow. It's actually really cool. It helps you to visualize your TensorFlow graph. You can also plot various metrics from your training process, and Tensorboard renders them in a nice visual graphs. You can use all this information to evaluate how your training is going. You could stop it or restart with different configurations and so on. A lot of our users on FloydHub use TensorFlow today, and this has been one of the most requested features. Now let's look at how to enable Tensorboard when you're starting a project. This is a guide in our documentations page, docs.floydhub.com. You can go in there and search for Tensorboard and you will find this document. A lot of what I'm going to show in the video today is available in this document as well. So enabling Tensorboard is really simple. So let's look at an example. There is an example file that's available in a repo in this document. I've already downloaded it locally, so I'm going to switch to my terminal to show you the file. So this is a very simple MNIST classifier, not super interesting by itself, but you would notice that at various points in this script, there is a tf.summary function call that's been used. This is TensorFlow's way of logging information for Tensorboard to consume. You can read more about this in TensorFlow's documentation. But in this script, you will notice that we are also logging scalar information like mean values or accuracy, entropy, and so on. The other interesting part in this document is where this summary is going to get written into. You would notice that this script is a little bit generic, so it takes in the parameter called logdir and uses that to write all this information. If you've already used FloydHub, you will know that for recording your output information in Floyd, you always use a /output directory. So /output is a special construct of FloydHub. Any information that's written into /output is preserved after the job is stopped. So we are using the same path for Tensorboard also. So when I run this script, I will use the /output directory to store all this Tensorboard information. So I'm going to run this command and I'm going to talk about these various flags. So you will notice that there is a /_tensorboard flag in this command. So this is how you enable Tensorboard for your project run. This is applicable for both CPU and GPU instances. So if you want to say --GPU, this job will run on a GPU instance and Tensorboard will be available. If you want to use a different version of TensorFlow, you can also specify that here. So Tensorboard just runs on all these different environments as well. You will also see that for logdir, I have specified /output/MNIST. And that means that is the path where I'm going to have all the Tensorboard information logged. And 5000 is the number of iterations for the script. So let's start this job. Okay, now I'm going to go to the dashboard and look at this job there. Okay, I'm going to go into my running job. Now you will see that the logs show that the job is just getting started. And you will also notice that the Tensorboard link is available right here. So all the jobs where you enable Tensorboard will show up, the link will show up here. So if you click on this link, Tensorboard should load up. Sometimes it may take a few minutes for Tensorboard to get started. So the first time you click on this link, if it doesn't work, refresh after a minute or so, and then you would see the information. Now you can see that the Tensorboard UI is a standard Tensorboard. Now all the tabs that you see on standard environment, you would see it here. So it has all the scalars that are being logged inside the code as TF summary scalars. They all show up here. For instance, if I click on accuracy, now I can actually see the accuracy information that is logged by both the test and the train information. The reason they are differently colored is because in the script we log the test information and the train to different directories, and Tensorboard knows to color them differently when rendering information. So in this case, the orange is the test data and the blue is the training data. Now this is, again, it's real-time information. So if I refresh this, I'm going to keep getting new information. As you can see now, as the number of iterations increases, you will get more information. So any scalar that's logged in the code shows up here. It also logs, any images that are also logged will show up in the images tab. This script is actually logging how the images are getting reshaped. The MNIST images are getting reshaped in the script. So you see that information here. The other really cool thing is you can also view the graph information. This is the TensorFlow graph that the script is using. So I can go into any of these components and I can look at specific layer, and as I can keep drilling down, and you start getting more and more information. And this is really useful if you are debugging your model, if you are unclear what is happening inside your model. So yeah, and the Tensorboard is very rich. There are lots of different configurations, lots of different things that are happening. So I would recommend looking at Tensorboard's documentation to learn what other things you can do. The other thing is, the example I just showed you, we ran a script on FloydHub, which is emitting information to Tensorboard. But the same approach works with Jupyter notebooks as well. So you can specify mode Jupyter when you start the job, and now you will have two links in your project, one for your Jupyter notebook and a link for Tensorboard. So any training you do inside your Jupyter notebook, you can still get that information onto your Tensorboard. It's super useful to track how your training is going. The other really useful thing is now I see that my training has the accuracy information has flattened, so I'm not gonna see much improvement after this. So even though I started my training for 5,000 iterations, I could stop at this point because it's not going to get any better. This is a really valuable information that you can get from Tensorboard if you log your accuracy or loss function information like that. So once you're done with this, you can go back and I can cancel my job, and and that's it. And once you stop the job, your Tensorboard will no longer be accessible. So take a look at Tensorboard. Let us know if you have any feedback, and hope it's really useful for you guys. Thank you.